Hello guys, and welcome back to Getting Started with LabVIEW. And in today's example we will look into the part 3 of using event structure, and this is an example that actually uses dynamic event together with event structure. In this example I have actually created a simple user interface that depicts the water pressure level and how the water pressure level actually triggers event on the LED and also the pressure status. Here I have actually created a simple parameter that shows that whenever the water pressure level falls within this range, it will actually trigger the LED together with the status accordingly. So this is the requirement that is actually created for this water pressure system. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the block diagram and actually create the required code that for the dynamic events. In the previous example we have actually created the constants, and we actually use these constants for each of this indicator, and we will actually put it as a create user event. However, in the parameter that we actually seen that it actually requires 3 different colors. As you can see, we need to simulate green, yellow and red based on the values from the water pressure. So therefore, if you look into the properties, you can see that these options is actually limited to 2 different colors. However, we can also, instead of using the Boolean value, we can actually use the property node of the Boolean value. So I need to create the property node and go into the colors. So instead of using true and false, I will actually use the constant of the colors itself. So let's put it here. Let's put it here and make each of this label visible, and yep, let's make it. So now we actually have this, and we also need 2 different while loops. And these 2 different while loops will behave separately. So to differentiate what while loops each of these while loop does, I will go into the sub diagram label and use it as sender. Call it as sender loop, and I'll call this as receiver loop. Now in the receiver loop, we have seen that we will be using the create and also receive the user event. So in the previous video I did not actually mention how we can actually access the events palette. So here I will actually show here we need to go into the measurement IO, NI Dynamics palette, under advanced, and under dynamic events you can see there's actually 2 different icons. We need to access to the events, and you can see this is the palette for Dynamics. This is the palette for events. So now I'll need to create 3 different events because we have 3 different data types that we will be monitoring. All right, so let's create this 3 different data types, pressure status here, and then I also need to register for each of these events. Since we have 3 different data types, we need to register 3 different events. So let's go in here, have the data type for the cluster, 1D array of the cluster, and next is the pressure status. Once you have this, you also need to place the event structure into the while loop of the receiver. Let's put this guy here, and enable the dynamic event structure. Let me just replace this with shift register, put it in here, and we also need to put in the unregister for events outside of the receiver loop. Once you have this, we need to configure what are the values that need to be sent into the water pressure. So to do that, I will actually move this wire slightly to the left and create a condition where I will be feeding the water pressure value here. So I'll be using a random value, and looking at the water pressure level, it is actually from 0 to 100, so I need to multiply by 100. Let's create a constant here, 100. And then I also need to generate the user event value with the initially created user event. and then I put in the value here. So once we have the generate user event value for the water pressure level, we can also trigger the boolean, trigger the LED and also the pressure status for the water pressure level here. So put another one more here for the LED, and also put another one more for the string water pressure string indicator for the water pressure status. Now using the random value generated, we can actually use a case structure and compare each of these values here. Now from the requirement, we have 0 to 500, 500 to 1, 750, and 751 to 1000. So let's go to the default value from 0 to 500, then from 501 to 750, and then add another case after from 751 to 1000. Once we have this, we need to, and once we have the values for each of the case configured in the case structure, we can then put in the required values to trigger the event. So the first thing is I'll actually use the pressure status here, or maybe I can just use a string constant, put in the value here and call it as pressure exceeded, and link it to here. The next is, this is normal operation. The other one would be caution, pressure increase. And once we have configured the pressure status, we can then also configure for the LED color. Now the funny thing here is that we can see that this is actually an array of a cluster. If we put into the context help, array of a cluster, and it actually contains cluster of two different elements. The value that we need to configure is the first value here, which is the foreground value, and the second one is actually a background value, which we will not disturb. So we configure the foreground value, and for normal we set it as green. Now we make another copy here. For caution we put it as yellow, and for warning we put it as red. So this is the caution value here. Let's put it here. Next is the warning, pressure has exceeded. Last, we put in the normal value here. Once this is done, we need to configure the dynamic event for each of these three indicators. So let me edit this event because I do not want a timeout, and I put in the water pressure level whenever the value changes, and then I put it into the indicator, the tank, and then just create another one more, add event case for the color. The pressure LED always has to be inside the event structure. Change all to right. Put in the colors here, right? Put in the colors here. And lastly, add another event for the pressure status. Okay. And there you go. And I also want to configure the sender loop to response at every 100 millisecond, which is 1 second. So I need to put in the wait time. Now this is just an additional requirement. So you can set as how fast do you want it to send. And if you run the code, you can see it's a normal operation, and once the pressure actually exceeds, it becomes red, and then we should be also able to see the caution if the pressure increase. And let's create another indicator so that we can see what are the values that is actually being generated here. Let's put it here and see for normal, warning, normal, and we should see a caution coming in. Yes. So this is an example of how we can actually create a simple probably real-life application. This may not be as a real-life application, but at least it replicates to what we can see today. And using the dynamic event, we can actually trigger this value. And not necessarily we need to use a constant. We can even use the property node of a control or an indicator and use a menu, and we can play around with the data with it. So this is an example of how we can actually implement dynamic event in LabVIEW.